Our next talk is about paving the way to a climate-neutral infrastructure. My guest is the Senior Vice President of Global Strategic Partnerships, Projects and Marketing Partnerships at Deutsche Telekom. Please give it up for Michael Hagspihl. Hey.
Put this here, otherwise
I will take all the water. Usually when I interview people this tall, I have to stand on a box, but I'm going to just do my best. Yeah, we won't make you sit in a crouched position. Michael, give us a little intro. Who are you? What are you working on? How are you thinking about sustainability at Telekom?
Happy to do so. Michael Hagspihl from Deutsche Telekom. I have the pleasure to run kind of 4 topics out of what we call the CEO agenda. That's the agenda of Tim Höttges. Number 1 is coordinate all communication activities of Deutsche Telekom in Germany. Number 2 is run strategic partnerships in content, in sponsoring, in sports. Number 3 is run the T-Mobile US, Deutsche Telekom Europe program, where we're doing stuff together between T-Mobile US, our big daughter in the US, and all our European NatCos. And number 4, and that's probably what we talk most about today, is since January 1st, I'm running group corporate responsibility at Deutsche Telekom.
Corporate social responsibility is a word we hear a lot, especially if you come to conferences like this. Make it personal for me. What does it mean for you?
To be honest, it's pretty new still for me. Yeah, but what I feel intensively is the raise of the urgency, and I obviously feel that personally, but I feel that also from Deutsche Telekom's perspective, because we have been working on this for quite a while already, like all the other companies, and Christina has mentioned a lot about it, what has gone on, and I'm proud to say that our network, for example, which is biggest responsibility of Deutsche Telekom, build network, build mobile network, build fixed line network, we are already using 100% green energy. Yeah, so that is an achievement, but still it needs a long transformation to really get it into the DNA of our company, and this is why we have put it into our strategy on the first page. So act responsibility is key part of our strategy.
Let's get granular about that strategy. What are Telekom's sustainability and climate goals?
It's like Christina also mentioned, I'm happy, I listened to the last five minutes of her speech, and she said that like everybody else, Deutsche Telekom has given themselves, or we have given ourselves, clear commitments in terms of what we want to measurable achieve. So number 1 is already what I said, use renewable energy, and we already achieved that by end of 2021. The next one is we want to be net zero greenhouse gas by 2025 on scope 1 and scope 2. And then 2030, we want to have reduced dramatically our power consumption in the networks since, and we're measuring this since, what did we use 2017 and what will we use 2030? Just to give you a little bit of a feeling, Deutsche Telekom's network in Germany need as much energy as national power as 500,000 per-person households. Yeah, we are using 2.5 million gigawatt hours. Yeah, so as you can assumption, and the future outlook, and we are all part of that one, is the data which will go through the networks will significantly increase, factor 25. We have given ourselves the target to do it with the same amount of energy consumption. So very easy, if you want to increase something by 25 and you want to do it with the same energy, you have to be more efficient. So the efficiency target of the networks is the high challenge we believe, and that's not only true for Deutsche Telekom, speaking for Vodafone, Telefonica, all our competitors, is make the networks more energy efficient, and technologies like fiber, like new mobile technologies, and that's a challenge to us and our suppliers, need to be more power efficient, and honestly, use less power is the key word of the game here.
Use less power, be more energy efficient. Are there other challenges that come with increasing your sustainability requirements, or is this energy efficiency the main thing?
No, I think the key challenge is the practical challenge, so the operational excellence, the work. And the key thing for that one is you need to put it into your KPI systems. Otherwise, it's going to stay a talk. Then we're always going to talk about revenue, we're going to talk about profitability, we're going to do our quarterly figures, and at the end of the day, we will say, and by the way, we are on a good way to become more green or more social. I'm not only talking about green, it's about good magenta and green magenta. This is how we call it. Magenta, you can see over there, that's the color of your, and I'm happy you nearly made it with your clothes today.
This is not corporate sponsorship, I chose this independently.
It's not my purpose, no, but Deutsche Telekom's color is known here, so this is why we have called something green magenta, good magenta, but you need to make your results measurable. And as most of you know, and you have in your companies, we have tons of KPIs on classical financial figures. We do not have very good KPIs and very good systems yet on climate numbers. How many power do we use in Romania in the mobile network? Yeah, what is really the effect of our buildings? Yeah, what do our sales guys on the street in terms of fuel use? Yeah, so we need to have clear KPIs because we believe in something, stuff you cannot measure, you cannot steer. If you cannot tell people you are 12% about your target, yeah, they will not care.
Yeah.
And the second thing is you need to make it people feel that it's worth achieving is, and still we believe putting it in their financial personal targets is a methodology. It is not everything. Money doesn't drive any engagement, but it helps. So we made 20% of all leading employees of Deutsche Telekom are now paid on sustainability targets. So 20% of your money comes out of sustainability targets. We believe that changes the DNA because I believe you need the facts, but you also need the inner belief. And that's, for example, something what we call the green pioneers. We have a group of people who did not wait on us as management. They did build their own communities, and they are challenging us as a leadership team, Deutsche Telekom, become more efficient, become more sustainable, and we are happy to have those people who kind of show us the internal mirror and show us where we are still not acting to the degree what we want.
Yeah, you need those folks. They have to have a voice. Let's talk for a second, Michael, about the positive climate effects of digital technologies. I'm going to cite a study here. There's a Bitkom study called Climate Effects of Digitalization that shows that digital technologies can save a lot of CO2, in particular manufacturing, mobility, energy, building sectors. There's a lot of potential here for CO2 savings. What is Telekom doing to enable customers to reduce their emissions? And let's get specific. Which products and which solutions are in focus?
Yeah, I'm really happy about that question because it drives us into the second block of looking at it. Yeah? The first block I spoke about is, let's do our own duty. Yeah? Do your own shit, to say so. Yeah? Get your stuff ready, get it more green, work it. But we believe telco specifically can drive and help a lot of other companies to achieve their targets. Yeah? Let me just take the example of cloud. We are one of the biggest cloud providers. A lot of our business customers have reduced their on-premise storage capacities and went with their products into the cloud. So we are delivering huge opportunities of decarbonization of our clients and our customers, especially German Mittelstand, is extremely happy we are helping them with those technology based on their networks to drive and enable them to push sustainable solutions and become more sustainable themselves. So it's a business opportunity for business customers. And then obviously, I just looking up here the figures again, because I found them so interesting. 80% of our customers, consumers now, said they are interested in sustainable solutions. Yeah, that's their statement. There's a little bit of discrepancy still to what they act, because most of them buy iPhones and Samsungs, and only few of them buy Fairphones. But I believe this gap is going to close. Consumers' decisions will go where sustainable products are. So I'm 100% convinced if you as a company do not fulfill this, it will no longer just be your food consumption, the way you eat, the way you drive or have your mobility. It will also be the way how you communicate. And if we at Deutsche Telekom do not follow this trend and do not keep our premium there, then we will lose revenue. So it is a commercial duty. It's not something which comes only out of we should be good. Yeah, we need to do this. It's economically viable for us to become, and that's what we want to become, the leading European digital telco, but we want to become now the leading European sustainable digital telco, and this is why we even put it into the main sentence of our behavior.
So what contribution can digital companies make on the path to sustainability and climate neutrality?
As I said, it starts with building the best networks. That's what we are here for. Build fiber networks now, coming from a copper network. Build mobile networks, so really enable people on best networks to use digital opportunities. Imagine, I mean, the crisis, like Christina said, was the best transformation. Yeah, and we have to say Germany is always criticized for being last row, yeah, in digitization. We are reasonably proud that the networks, and I'm not only talking about our own network, also talking about competitors' networks, the networks in Germany enabled Zoom, Teams, whatever you guys use, to, I believe, a very good standard. A very good standard. We had stable networks in Germany who were providing from home office to companies interaction in a very short distance. You can imagine how the data consumption raised on our networks when the crisis started. So that's the number one step what we can do. But then, as I said, cloud products, or let me give you an example out of consumers. Our routers, two aspects about that. We need to reduce the power consumption of our routers of consumer. They are 24/7 on. And secondly, we need to bring them into full circularity. We don't want people to keep old routers in their home and just buy a new one or lease a new one for us. We want them to give them back to you. We will refurbish them. We will reuse them like we're doing to a large degree, but we're not doing this 100%. On mobile phones, by the way, the quota is even worse. I don't know how many mobile phones you still have in your home. If I would walk around, I would find Nokia, Siemens, Sony Ericssons, and whatever. Let's collect phones back. There are people who want to buy used phones. We will rework them. We will bring them into other countries. We are the largest European telco. We have our American daughter. So let's make attractive offers to consumer to also go into circularity for mobile phones.
I'm glad you mentioned circularity, because it's all well and good to stand here and say, oh, digital technologies have a net positive effect on climate change, but of course a holistic climate strategy, it also includes reducing one's own footprint. You've talked a little bit about how Telekom is doing that. In an infrastructure that's made up of ICT devices, data centers, communication networks, tell us more about what Telekom is doing to reduce its own footprint.
No, it's number one, obviously. If we have given ourselves the target for scope 1, scope 2, it's clear we need to get our things done. The really critical and the difficult part for us is get net neutral by 2040, including scope 3. Because you can imagine the stuff which comes to us from our suppliers, from network infrastructure. Just think of all the fiber cable, just think of all the building we are doing, think of all the mobile antennas we are putting. We need to, this is for us scope 3. So we need to speak with our suppliers, how can we reduce even the production of that, and we are doing that. We are part of big supplier programs with Nokia, with any other Alcatel, any of those companies to reduce greenhouse emissions during the production process. So this is where it starts. And then obviously the other part is what I described, it's the downstream. Enable our customers, business customers or consumers to use what they want to do with less energy. That's the key where we can enable the industry. And Achim Berg, the Bitkom CEO, as you know, mentioned it yesterday evening in his key speech. Digitization can dramatically contribute to reduce CO2 emission.
We're coming to the end of our time. I'm conscious that we've talked about some hard topics. I want to give you a chance to just make a final point here. Anything that you want to say that I didn't ask you about Telekom's climate neutral infrastructure strategy?
No, I think that number one, it is important that you do not only change the factual thing, you need to change your how, we call it the how factor. You need to change your DNA to get seriousness into a company. People have been educated for a long time, and I was part of it. It's not different people. We were measured on building and selling best networks. we need to get into our brain, this is no longer good enough. We need to sell best and sustainable networks. That's a DNA change that needs to be brought through every employee. Telekom is more than 200,000 employees. Yeah, we need to bring that into people, and my colleagues over there, they are part of these people who are in that. And then secondly is, this is not a burden. This is a chance. This is a chance for positioning your brand. This is a chance for making revenues, and this is a chance for profitability, so for business, and then it starts to get fun again.
This is a chance. I can't think of a better place to leave it. Michael Hagspihl of Deutsche Telekom.
Thank you very
it was
much.
such a pleasure. Thank you for your time.
Bye.